Hare Krishna. Today we will read chapter 51 of the Nectar of Devotion. The chapter is called Perverted Expression of Mellows. The Nectar of Devotion was written by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and it was published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. Rasa basa, or incompatible mixtures of mellows, may be classified as uparasa, or false expression, anurasa, imitation, and aparasa, perverted or misrepresented mellows. There is the following statement by an impersonalist who had just seen Krishna. Quote, "When a person has passed completely from all contamination of material existence, he realizes a transcendental bliss of being established in trance. But as soon as I saw you, the original personality of Godhead, I experienced the same bliss." End quote. This perverted reflection of mellows is called Shanta Uparasa, or a perverted reflection of mixed impersonalism and personalism. There is another statement as follows, quote, "Wherever I am glancing, I simply see your personality. Therefore, I know that you are uncontaminated. You are the uncontaminated Brahman effulgence, the supreme cause of all causes. I think that there is nothing but you in the cosmic manifestation." End quote. This is another example of uparasa, or a perverted reflection of impersonalism and personalism. When Madhumangala, an intimate friend of Krishna, was dancing before Krishna in a joking manner, no one was paying attention to him, and he jokingly said, quote, "My dear Krishna, please be merciful upon me. I am praying for your mercy." End quote. This is an example of uparasa in fraternal affection and neutrality. Kamsa once addressed his sister Devaki as follows, quote, "My dear sister, having seen your dear son Krishna, I think that he is so strong that he can kill even wrestlers as strong as the mountains. So I will have no more anxieties about him, even if he is engaged in a terrible fight." End quote. This is an instance of uparasa and a perverted reflection of parental love. In the Lalita Madhava, Srila Rupa Goswami says, quote, "The wives of the Yagika Brahmanas were all young girls, and they were attracted to Krishna in the same way as the gopis of Vrindavan. Out of their attraction, they distributed food to Krishna." End quote. Here the two devotional mellows are conjugal love and parental love, and the result is called uparasa in conjugal love. One of the friends of Srimati Radharani told her, quote, "My dear friend Gandharvika Radharani, you are the most chaste girl in our village, but now you have divided yourself and you are partially chaste and partially unchaste. It is all due to Cupid's influence upon you after you saw Krishna and heard the sound of his flute." End quote. This is another example of uparasa caused by divided interest in conjugal love. According to some expert learned scholars, the feelings between lover and beloved create perverted reflections of mellows in many ways. Quote, the gopis have become purified by Krishna's glance, and as such, Cupid's influence is distinctly visible on their bodies. End quote. Although in the material sense, the glancing of a boy at a girl is a kind of pollution. When Krishna threw his transcendental glance at the gopis, they became purified. In other words, because Krishna is the absolute truth, any action by him is transcendentally pure. After Krishna chastised the Kaliya Naga in the Yamuna River by dancing on his heads, the Kaliya Naga's wives addressed Krishna, quote, dear cowherd boy, we are all only young wives of the Kaliya Naga, so why do you agitate our minds by sounding your flute? End quote. Kaliya's wives were flattering Krishna so that he would spare their husband. Therefore, this is an example of uparasa, or false expression. One devotee said, quote, my dear Govinda, there is a nice flowery bush in Kailas. I am a young girl, and you are a young poetic boy. After this, what more can I say? You just consider, quote, this, end quote. You just consider, end quote. This is an example of uparasa caused by impudence in conjugal love. When Narada Muni was passing through Vrindavan, he came to the Bandira Vana forest and saw in one of the trees the famous parrot couple that always accompanies Lord Krishna. The couple was imitating some discussion they had heard about Vedanta philosophy, and thus were seemingly arguing upon various philosophical points. Upon seeing this, Narada Muni was struck with wonder, and he began to stare without moving his eyelids. This is an example of anurasa, or imitation. When Krishna was fleeing from the battlefield from a distant place, Jarasandha was watching him with restless eyes and was feeling very proud. Being thus puffed up with his conquest, he was repeatedly laughing. This is an example of uparasa. Everything in connection with Krishna is called ecstatic devotional love, although it may be exhibited in different ways. Sometimes in the right order, and sometimes as a perverted reflection. According to the opinions of all expert devotees, anything that will arouse ecstatic love for Krishna is to be taken as an impetus for transcendental mellow. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. And this also ends the Nectar of Devotion with this last chapter, chapter 51, entitled Perverted Expression of Mellows. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.